Good evening. We hope you continue to enjoy your dinner, but we are going to get started with our program. Welcome to the 2021 Compassionate Care Awards. Not part of my speech, but we're here together in a room. Welcome to the 2021 Compassionate Care Awards. I'm Stephanie Bird, a Board of Director for Hope After Loss, and I'm honored to have chaired this year's planning committee and to be able to share in this special evening with all of you. I'd like to start by extending a warm welcome to Hope After Loss's Board of Directors and staff, our Circle of Hope members, the 2021 Planning Committee, tonight's special guests of honor, our generous sponsors, including tonight's diamond sponsor, Mr. Frank Bartlett of Bartlett Legal Group, our donors and contributors, and the family and friends in attendance tonight. We are grateful to have you joining us for a night filled with inspiration, togetherness, and hope. Hope. That's a word that I believe we have all clung to a little tighter this year. We have seen great challenges this year, but also hope. We have seen difficult times present themselves to us, but also hope. Hope doesn't mean that hardship doesn't happen. It is simply there as a reminder that no matter what we experience, no matter what we go through, hope is in the background reminding us that there are brighter days ahead. Hope is seeing a small glimmer of light when we feel surrounded by darkness. Hope is the compassion and care that a medical provider shows to families who have experienced the unimaginable loss of their child or children. Hope is here tonight as we celebrate Dr. Kristen Aversa, Dr. Natalie Webb, and Jennifer Wethje, and the kindness, compassion, and care they offered to the McIntosh and D'Addario families. And with that, we are ready to officially start our program. I am honored to introduce tonight's virtual Master of Ceremonies. She's a familiar face, Miss Nicole Nalepa of WFSB Channel 3. Nicole joined us last year and was eager to be with us again tonight. She believes strongly in our mission and celebrates the efforts of an organization that will stop at nothing to provide support to families in need. Please join me in welcoming Nicole Nalepa.
Thank you, Stephanie, and welcome to this year's Compassionate Care Awards. Tonight is a special evening where we get to honor and celebrate medical professionals and caregivers who support families during their darkest moments of losing a child. It's also a time to come together with family and friends, and it's a time to celebrate hope, for even in the darkest of days, hope prevails. Tonight is also an opportunity to learn about Hope After Loss, which is an amazing organization committed to helping those who experience pregnancy and infant loss to find the inspiration of hope by providing connections, comfort, and care. And your support of this organization is critical, and we are so happy that you are with us tonight. I'm honored to join your efforts this evening as your virtual Master of Ceremonies. This was a job I was very proud to do last year. And this year, I'm excited to be back because after I learned so much about the mission of Hope After Loss, I knew that this was something I didn't just want to do one time. I wanted to come back, and it's a cause that I want to support and help out in any way that I can. The calendar may read 2021, but I feel that we have a long way to go when it comes to educating women about the realities of becoming a mom. I have a 2-year-old son. He just turned 2 last weekend. And when I look back on his entrance into the world, well, it was quite the adventure. That's what my husband and I call it. We were on an adventure, and it didn't start during my pregnancy because I had the most uneventful pregnancy. It was as uneventful as could be. Literally, the doctors were telling me that. The ride began 3 weeks and a day to my son's due date. So I did not have the picture perfect delivery, and I certainly did not have the picture perfect homecoming. My husband and I right from the gate, we're faced with a lot of really tough decisions we had to make about our son's life. And I don't think there's anything that can prepare you for those moments. But what I feel that maybe would have helped looking back, and I don't like to look back and regress, but looking back, I think if we had a few more truths and a little bit more transparency into some of the things that can go wrong, into the other side of things, because so many times we look at the TV and we look at the movies and we think that things go, as planned, right? The water breaks, the husband throws the packed suitcase into the car and off they go to the hospital and everything is hunky-dory. But that's not what happens. To those who that did happen to, God bless you. And I think that's amazing. And I'd love to hear your story. Please let me know. But I really don't know many people that situation happened to, because there are so many things that can go wrong. There are so many things that you must accept. And there are so many emotions tied to the entire experience, truly from when you find out that you're having a child. So I think that we need some more resources for parents when they feel like their world has completely shattered around them, and when they can't put into words the emptiness and the loss that they feel right here. So your donations tonight will help those who are dealing with these feelings of hopelessness. And it will also provide a network of support that so many families yearn for in these situations. So thank you once again for welcoming me back to serve as your virtual MC. I hope to be with you in person at the next event. Congratulations to tonight's award recipients, Dr. Kristen Aversa of Generations OB-GYN, and Dr. Natalie Webb and Ms. Jennifer Wethje, both of Women's Comprehensive Healthcare. Tonight we celebrate you for your compassion, for your outstanding care of the McIntosh and Diodario families and all of your patients. Enjoy this evening, support this organization, learn more about everything that they do, and continue to be inspired by hope. Never lose that hope.
Thank you, Nicole, for joining us this evening. And now I'd like to welcome Board of Director Kim Nelly.
Good evening. To make it a little taller. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Compassionate Care Awards. Welcome to our award winners. Thank you for being here tonight. Tonight, I am up here. It is my honor to introduce our chair of the board, Ms. Katie Christensen. From the moment, so I was asked to introduce Katie, and I was thinking, what do I say about Katie? And what we know most about Katie is from the moment she walked in, from the very first board meeting, she has said, "What do you need? I will do whatever you need me to do. I will do whatever you need me to do." And she looked at me and she goes, "I'm your girl. What do you need?" And she has showed that time and time again. She has served in various roles at Hope After Loss in the years that she's been there. She's a support group facilitator. She was the head of the governance committee. She accepted the role of treasurer. And most recently, she was elected chair of the board in September of this year. She has worked tirelessly to make sure Hope After Loss, especially our support groups, were available to all who needed them through this global pandemic. She led the way, and we are forever grateful that she was leading the way this year as we worked virtually. She found Hope After Loss after her son, Samuel Morgan Christensen, was born still, and he will be 5 on June 29th of this year. Katie, you have helped more people than you know in Samuel's name in the last 5 years. Thank you for being you. Thank you for leading us. Thank you for bringing hope. Please welcome Katie Christensen, the chair of the Board of Directors for Hope After Loss.
Thank you, Kim. Good evening and welcome to the Hope After Loss Compassionate Care Awards. I'm Katie Christensen, the chair of the Board of Directors for Hope After Loss. I want to start by thanking our generous donors who make our work possible here. A special thank you to our annual diamond sponsor, Bartlett Legal Group. My son takes your water bottles to every soccer practice. Without donors like you, we would not be able to bring hope to those who need it most through compassion, comfort, and care. Thank you also to our Executive Director, Christina Milos, and to Alicia Johnston, our Program Manager, for all that you do for Hope After Loss. And to my fellow board members, it is an honor to volunteer for Hope After Loss by your side. Thank you for the time and talents you donate to our beloved organization. Finally, a very special congratulations to our compassionate care recipients, Dr. Kristen Aversa, Dr. Natalie Webb, and Jennifer Wethje. We are humbled to honor you this evening. As far as being a bereaved parent, I actually count myself quite lucky. First of all, I didn't lose my baby during a pandemic, in isolation, unable to grieve with my family and friends, or unable to have a memorial service. I am beyond grateful for the care I received on June 29th, 5 years ago, and for the care that I received during that following year. Losing your baby is unimaginable for most, but for us in this room, it's a stark reality. And we know that you can't make the experience of losing your children better, but there are people among us who make it less terrible. My midwife, Michelle, for one, was incredible. And at the hospital, they put nurses with me who were experienced in helping mothers deliver their stillborn babies. Mary Beth was an angel on earth for me. She knew exactly what to say and what not to say. My labor with Sam was really long. My other children were really, really short. So this was different for me. And I just wasn't ready to say goodbye. Mary Beth so softly and gently stroked my hand and whispered in my ear that it was time, that I needed to let him go. I sobbed, and he was born silently just minutes after. But she gave me a gift. She saw me. She saw my pain, and she knew that I needed a nudge. I love her for that. When we were preparing to leave the next day, another nurse, Holly, had come in to ask us about funeral homes and arrangements for Sam. I was appalled. I had no idea that I would need to have a funeral handy. I was prepared to bring my baby home, not bury him. I don't remember what I said to her, but for many of you that know me know that my initial reactions to things can be a little less than subtle. So whatever it was I said, she got the idea that I was not prepared. Well, Holly was a rock star. She wrote everything down for me and handed me a folder. She called all of these places in my surrounding area and got all of their phone numbers and what they charged. We know that newly lost parents struggle with making decisions and with feeling overwhelmed. So this was just another gift that we had received. Going home without Samuel was the emptiest and lowest I truly have ever felt, but it's amazing how our bodies can survive such trauma. My midwife checked in on me every day. When I was struggling to find a therapist that specialized in perinatal loss, she had a highlighted list to me in less than 12 hours. Another gift. When my husband and I decided to try IVF again, I was petrified. I now knew more than most what was at stake. I could not bear to lose another baby. I had barely survived losing Sam. My endocrinologist welcomed me back literally with open arms and asked me to tell him what happened in my own words. He demanded to know how I would be monitored with this new pregnancy after he released me from his care, and to ensure my midwives would take extra special care of me. When he gave me the news that I was pregnant with twins, he understood my tears. Now I was extra old, geriatric, had a history of loss, and was carrying multiples, a trifecta of risks. But as a lot of you know here, Dr. Engman is also an angel on earth and offered me hope every step of the way. When I safely delivered my twins 1 year to Samuel's due date, he was one of the first people I wanted to tell. There were so many other people that offered me compassion and hope along the way. The anesthesiologist who, while giving me running advice, helped me in so many other aspects of my life. He said, never do so much in one day that you can't get back out there the next. He also was the first person to tell me that my grief over Sam was just all the love I had that had nowhere to go for now. That he could tell how much I loved him. Or my favorite maternal fetal medicine doctor I was lucky to see while pregnant with my twins. He was the first in his practice to not refer to my son as a fetal demise. He was the first one to pull a chair up next to me while I sobbed on the table. He called Samuel by his name. And the most important thing he did for me was to tell me I didn't need to be excited about being pregnant with the twins every single day. You see, no one could seem to understand why I was still so depressed, even my own mother. Sorry, Mom. But I had a Sam-sized hole in my heart that a new baby or even 2 new babies could never fill. But on the days that we had a good exam and both twins were still alive, the doctor and I would celebrate. He knew how scared I was, but on exam days, I had tangible proof that they were okay. He gave me hope, and he let me know that my way of grieving, while also being pregnant, was okay. All of these amazing caregivers went out of their way to drop little seeds of hope for us, to make our pain a little less when they could. We are forever in their debt. I ask you to please help us honor these folks by continuing to spread hope when you can. Extend your hand, an ear, or your wallet, if you are able. Every donation you make truly enables us to offer hope to our bereaved families. It ensures we have someone to answer the phone every day to support a new family. It enables us to continue to provide burial and cremation support. And it is what has made it possible to train even more facilitators this year so that we could offer even more support to our families who have lost a baby during this pandemic. To me, our groups are what really make Hope After Loss so special. When the pandemic hit, we had to reevaluate how we provided support to our families. We knew we had to get an online group up and running, but we were all quite nervous. There's something to be said for meeting in a small setting, being able to pass the tissues around and hold someone's hand when they need it. What would it be like on a phone or over a laptop? Did we even know how to work the technology? We just had to jump in, and that's exactly what we did. And to our amazement, it worked, and the groups grew and grew and grew. It became very special. We even started offering a men's group after having so many husbands join. We had to train more facilitators. Our volunteers have worked so hard to provide support to our community. That is why I want to give a very important thanks to our incredible facilitators who work through their own grief in order to help others and rearrange their schedules to ensure someone is always available. So a huge thank you to Christine Pinto, Dana Romano, Dan Romano, Megan Constantino, Peggy Rosamilia, Andrew Esposito, Alicia Laborious, Courtney Woods, Megan Pollock, and Jessica Lunta. Thank you for all you do. And as a facilitator, I can assure you that we find a different kind of healing with these support groups. It helps us to remember how much we have overcome, how to find new strength, and how to keep the dialogue about pregnancy and infant loss going so that others will never feel silenced. Lastly, I would like to mention that we don't forget about the compassionate care we have received even decades later. We are now pleased to share a story about one of our facilitators, Peggy Rosamilia, who has led countless support groups over Zoom in the past year and ended up finding inspiration herself from the members of her group she was facilitating. Thank you.
After having an amniocentesis that went horribly wrong, I was going into the hospital for weekly ultrasounds to check on my baby. Each week we saw a different doctor. There was no consistency, and it didn't seem like anyone knew our history with infertility, nor did they care to find out. No one bothered to talk to me or my husband while they measured my baby and the fluid in the sac. The weeks that they measured an increase, we left with a false feeling of hope. It seemed that an increase would be a good sign, or so we thought. When I was in my 20th week, October 1996, I met an angel, Dr. Martinez. He was the doctor who was called in that week to check the ultrasound. After the ultrasound, Dr. Martinez told us to meet him in his office to discuss my options. I was thrilled to have a doctor who cared about me enough to discuss what was happening. I've always wanted to thank him, but I thought it was too long ago. Now that I'm a facilitator for our support group, I was telling the group my story, and I had to tell them about Dr. Martinez. The group suggested I locate the doctor on Google, which I did. I actually found my angel and have been able to thank him. Without the group's encouragement, I don't think I would have searched for him.
Hi, I'm Christina Milos. I'm the Executive Director of Hope After Loss. I just wanted to let you all know that Peggy is watching us right now, and I just wanted to say a special thank you to her for all she's done and for her story here, and that we do have a special recognition certificate for her and for Dr. Martinez that we're going to make sure that gets to both of them. And just, so what I wanted to say tonight is that, and I've said this before, it's a privilege to work alongside such passionate board and committed volunteers like Peggy, who you just heard about, and all of the others who do such important work. This event is proof of how successful we can be if we all work together. This past year has taught us so many things, and one of those things is that where there's a will, there's a way. While tonight is about celebrating compassionate care, you might have also noticed that we are raising funds for Hope After Loss. And I'd just like to tell you a little bit about where the funds raised tonight will go. First, they go towards maintaining our part-time staff. Aside from our very active board of directors and our volunteer support group facilitators, we have 2 part-time staff members. There's me, the executive director, and Alicia Johnston, who's over there. She's our program manager. We put our energy towards continuing our core services and bringing hope to Connecticut and now beyond. Those core services include providing support for countless bereaved families, burial and cremation assistance, where we typically help over 50 families a year, and our outreach and education. Second, our funds go towards overhead. We rent out a small office and also rent out spaces in public buildings where we hold our support groups, something we hope to return to very soon. Training volunteers to run our support groups and help with events costs money. We mail a lot of things to our community, including anniversary cards to let our community members know we're thinking of them when the anniversary of their child's death is looming. And we also mail out beautiful handmade blankets when we hear of the birth of rainbow babies. Maintaining what we do is hard work, and it's amazing to see what we can accomplish with a part-time staff and volunteers. But we know we can do so much more. Last year, I told you about our plans to elevate education and outreach and find ways to bring a Hope After Loss approved best practice or standard of care to be implemented in every hospital in the state. With your financial help and our focused standards of care committee, we were able to take a big first step, which was to award scholarships to 9 professional caregivers to take the gold standard resolved through sharing perinatal bereavement training. Caregivers from several different hospitals and specialties, including Ob-Gyn, nursing, and social work, were able to attend the 2-day training offered in February, and we are hoping to send even more next year. And you'll hear more about this later in the program. And we are also hoping to make some big changes to our burial and cremation program in the coming year by offering special perinatal bereavement training to funeral home directors, and also making it easier for bereaved parents to find funeral homes who will be exceptionally compassionate to them and understanding of their needs. We have also been able to find several ways to expand our support offerings by adding a men's support group and monthly remembrance events. One of the benefits of Zoom for our support groups is that we've been able to reach much further than Connecticut and have been able to help people as far away as Virginia, Texas, and California, and just this past week, British Columbia. We can't thank our facilitators enough for their commitment to our special community through this very difficult year. Thanks to our new reach through Zoom, we've actually received our first nomination for this award from out of state. Blair Everett from California nominated her OB-GYN, Dr. Wheeler. Blair said, "When I lost the baby, he was a doctor who was able to care for me immediately after, and even followed up with a genuinely kind message saying he felt terrible for me. It goes to show there are still good, genuine doctors that are out there. He's one of the few. He deserves to be recognized, as most doctors don't go the extra mile, let alone make sure their patients are taken care of the way they need to. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Dr. Wheeler, and thank you for never giving up on me. I wouldn't be here truly if it weren't for you." And so we also have a special recognition certificate for him, and we want to thank Blair for taking the time to nominate him. So I'm going to leave you with some ideas of how you can help us to move forward. First, you can help us by bidding on an item in the silent auction tonight, buying a raffle ticket, or by making a donation. You can even consider being a sponsor or attending our next big event, our annual Footprints on Our Hearts Walk and 5K, coming up in October. And you can become a volunteer or even consider serving on our board of directors. We receive help in so many ways, and we are so grateful for everyone's contributions. We definitely have the will to move forward, and we will definitely find a way. Thank you.
I am so honored to speak about our next guest, Jan Ferraro. Jan has been a supporter and a friend to Hope After Loss for years. She serves as the Director of Education for Acceleron Medical Equipment. She's a longtime sponsor of our Compassionate Care Awards, and she's even the recipient herself of a Compassionate Care Award for the care, compassion, and kindness she showed to me in 2013 when my son Jackson was stillborn. I will never, ever stop saying that she was the first person to hold my son, even before I did, and she never lets me forget that a person's a person, no matter how small. She continues to serve on the planning committee for this event, and tonight she's being recognized for her partnership with Mary Lou Ellis. Together, they collect wedding gowns and transform them into beautiful burial gowns that are, in turn, handed over to local hospitals to share with families who suffer the unimaginable loss of a baby. Here to say a bit more about this amazing partnership and act of kindness, please welcome Jan Ferraro.
So I can see. Thank you, everyone, for letting me say a few words tonight. Mary Lou and I have a lot in common, more than our youthful good looks and witty personalities. For one, both of us married men named Bob. We both have 4 daughters. Apparently, God has a sense of humor. We both raised our families here in North Branford. We both whistle when we're working around the house, which might be very well annoying to the people who live in said house. I'm not exactly sure why Mary Lou whistles. I whistle because I don't know all the words to the song. We both have dogs with human names, Henry and Arlo. But one place we differ is in the ability to sew. I do not sew. When I took on the task of collecting wedding gowns, I never really thought past how I was going to get these little gowns made. And then, just like the song, hello, Mary Lou. Mary Lou is a force to be reckoned with, where I saw piles and piles of gowns. And I'm telling you, we must have collected over 400 wedding gowns. I cannot tell you how many wedding gowns are sitting in my office. When I see the sewing patterns, I break out into a sweat. Honestly, you could build a rocket ship better than I could read these sewing patterns. But Mary Lou, she sees an opportunity. She's like, hey, I can sew these gowns, and I can give peace to these grieving families. She went full steam ahead into her work. As a snowbird, she has taken gowns to Florida, where she has her yearly pilgrimage. She packs her sewing machine, her threads, her ribbons, everything. I know this because my husband and I go to Florida. Sometimes we bring the sewing machine for her. She has made well over 100 gowns. So if you want to see what they look like, this is an example of one. With every gown, Mary Lou makes a little heart, so the family always has something to keep of the same fabric that their baby was laid to rest in. We also make one additional heart to who has ever donated the gown, so this way here, they always have something that they're, from the gown that they donated. One wedding gown donor relayed to me that she had just lost her husband. She wanted her gown to be used so that when these lost angels arrived in heaven, her husband would recognize the fabric was from her wedding gown, and he would make it his business to care for these babies until she was able to be with him again. It was so touching, and also so like a wife to plan that her husband has to have something to do until he gets there. Just let me give you something to do till I get there. I want to keep you busy. Because apparently she thought he was going to get in trouble in heaven. Got to keep those men busy. Mary Lou has taught groups of women how to make these gowns. Unfortunately, because of COVID, all those groups shut down very, very quickly, but we are slowly gathering them back up again, and we have more sewers in our midst. Mary Lou, it is an honor to work with you. It is an honor to know you. You and I are like peanut butter and jelly, two peas in a pod, Lucy and Ethel. So now I'm dating myself. So for you younger people, it seemed like, I don't know, Amy Poehler and, Tina Fey. Mary Lou, none of this could have been done without you by my side. From the very bottom of my heart, I thank you on behalf of Hope After Loss and all the families who have reaped the benefits of your talents during the worst time of their lives. Know that your time behind the sewing machine has made a real difference. And I love you. Thank you. Come on up. Mary Lou, you have to come up.
These are dripping.
Oh. Mary Lou, you have to come up, dear.
And now it's time for our musical performance. I'd like to introduce Kalia Grand Prix and Miles Papola. Kalia has starred in local productions such as Grease, The Addams Family, and Oliver. And when she's not busy studying at UConn, or babysitting for me, she writes her own music and performs at local festivals and events. Miles is a member of the band If Not for Dreaming, and together they've been performing since high school. Here to perform Cover Me in Sunshine by Pink, please welcome Kalia Grand Prix and Miles Papola.
I've been dreaming, friendly faces. I've got so much time to kill. Just and I know someday we will. And even if it's far away, get me through another day. Cover me in sunshine and shower me with good times, and tell me that the world's been spinning since the beginning and everything will be alright. Cover me in sunshine. From a distance, all those mountains are just tiny hills. Wildflowers, they keep living, oh, while they just stand still. I've been missing yesterday, get me to a better place, and cover me with sunshine, and shower me with good times, and tell me that the world's been spinning since the beginning, and everything will be alright. and cover me with sunshine. Cover me with sunshine and shower me with good times, and tell me that the world's been spinning since the beginning, and everything will be alright. And cover me in sunshine and shower me with good times. Oh, and tell me that the world's been spinning since the beginning, and everything will be alright. Cover me in sunshine.
And now it's time for our awards presentation. Joanna D'Addario nominated tonight's first award recipient, Dr. Kristen Aversa. Joanna and her husband had the hopes of expanding their family for the past 5 years, and Dr. Aversa has been with them each and every step of the way, including when they received the devastating news that they would lose their pregnancy. According to Joanna, Dr. Aversa has consistently been willing to stop everything to help us in any way that she can, and that she uses her own strength as an example of how to overcome anything that life brings. Please welcome Joanna D'Addario.
I could tell you about my story, but I think I'll tell you about Dr. Aversa instead, because this is her award. And she's pretty wonderful. She's pretty humble, and if you know anything about the Aversa family, you know where that comes from. Dr. Aversa has been my gynecologist, I think, for 5 or 6 years now, but she knows that my desire to be a mom started a long time ago, and she's been with me in trying to get me to that goal. She's worked with me through my IVF experience, and the day I told her that it finally worked, and we were having identical twins, which we did not want or expect, but that the heartbeat was gone, the heartbeats were gone, she said, I want you to come to my office. I want you to see Francesca. Thank you, Francesca. I think it was your birthday, but you were there. And she was there, and she made the journey easier, and she said to me, I can give you bad news, that's my job. But she took it more beyond being her job. She saw me. I think somebody else said that same thing. She said, I am here. I will be here for you. For anything you need, call me day or night. And it's okay. And I have hope, even if you don't. And so when I was looking at this nomination form, it asked to choose a quote about compassion, and the quote I chose for Dr. Aversa reads, compassion means entering the suffering of another in order to lead the way out. And when you lose a pregnancy, nobody wants to come down there with you. People don't like to talk about it, as I'm sure you know. People don't feel comfortable, don't know what to say, even if they have compassion for you, it's hard to show it. But Dr. Aversa knew how to come down there with us, and she knew how to lead us out, and she knew how to bring us back to hope. And she said, even if you don't have hope that you'll be a mom, I do, and I'm gonna get you there. And that's why I think I wanted to nominate her. That's why I'm thankful that she's my gynecologist. It was exactly what I needed at one of the worst, darkest times in my life, when other people didn't know how to be there. She gave us the bad news. She let us cry. She wasn't afraid to have the conversation. She wasn't afraid of our tears. She didn't forget. She checked in, and she continues to check in. And even when I saw her tonight, she said, well, where are you? Because she was the one that said, I know you can do IVF again, when I said I can't do it again. And she knows that I have the strength even when I feel like I don't. She reminds me that I'm strong and that there is hope and we can still make it happen. And the compassion that she gave during our time of loss will honestly never be forgotten, even 25 years from now. I'll still remember that day. So thank you, Dr. Aversa, and thank you, Francesca, and thank you for generations for just being there on the worst day when we needed it.
not good at this. Hard to follow that with a speech. Thanks everybody for being here. It's a bittersweet event. We're all here because we've journeyed through our patients and even some of our own losses. But it is really beautiful to be together in a lighter event. And even if we had our masks on, it's still nice to be here. Before I get into the heavier stuff, I want to thank my family, in particular my mom and my fiance who are here, my first and my final love, and they are my rocks. And I want to thank my 3 children who are not here tonight, who have finally come to understand what I do is important to both me and to my patients, even though they whined a lot along the way. But they support me and they root me on, and I think they're even proud of me. I am so excited that a big portion of my generation staff is here. I love them, especially this group right here. They're sort of my team. They know I love them. And they work so hard and they're so dedicated to our patients, and they work tirelessly to support the physicians in our group. And they just have beautiful humor and goodness, and they help us deliver the very best care to our patients. And without a doubt, every day they help to make me a better doctor. I'm gonna single out my right-hand woman, my very own medical assistant, the person who makes my days work. She brings a smile to my face. She makes me laugh. She sometimes makes me want to cry. Jacqueline Zito, we're a team, and if she ever leaves me, I will get her back, for sure. Most importantly, I want to thank Joanna, my patient, who nominated me for this incredibly special award. There's part of me that has said and thinks, well, this is what we do. This is part of the job. But our job's different. You know, it's not just a job. It's a way of life. It's a way of being. I'm very privileged to do what I do. Joanna is one of the strongest and kindest people I have ever had the privilege of taking care of. And I am truly honored that you have felt that our journey together through your losses that you have faced somehow warranted this kind of recognition of me. It has been my honor to take care of you. To help you and to encourage you, and just to be there for you. So thank you for this. Now I can't see. Sorry. You know, when you choose to go to medical school, at least when I chose to go to medical school, you don't go into it to be the best surgeon or the smartest doctor or the busiest practitioner. I believe that most of us go to medical school to truly help people. But helping people for me always was more than writing prescriptions or fixing the wounds or ordering the correct tests. I always wanted to connect and try to help people through connection. And in connecting and listening to our patients, we start to feel their pain, their joy, and their fears. And it is in this connection that I have found that we help them the most. But an amazing thing happens along the way. I still can't see. Through the years of taking care of patients, it is the relationships with them that have made me a better doctor. But it has also made me a better person, a better mother, a better and more compassionate human being. It's really remarkable how that works. The patients I have taken through terrible diagnoses, including and especially pregnancy loss, are the ones who have helped me to grow the most. I never forget the moment I have to break their hearts, and I carry their sadness and their disappointment and their fear with me. But I am always, every single time, impressed with their strength and their courage, even when they don't think they have it. It is they who give me hope, and I take it with me to help my next patient, my family member, and even myself. So I thank you, Hope After Loss, for this remarkable honor. I not only share it, but I attribute it to my patients, in particular to Joanna, an incredibly strong and courageous soul whose trust in me reminds me why I really chose to become a doctor, and who has truly helped me to understand and to live with empathy and compassion. Thank you.
We are very honored to present Dr. Kristen Aversa with the 2021 Compassionate Care Award.
And now I'd like to welcome the McIntosh family who nominated Dr. Natalie Webb and Jennifer Wethje. Kim McIntosh describes pregnancy after loss as by far the most difficult journey she has walked, second only to losing their second son, Thomas. In her nomination, Kim went on to describe the support that she received as outstanding. According to Kim, Natalie and Jennifer truly embody compassion, and she is forever grateful as they stood by her side in support. Please welcome Kim McIntosh.
So first of all, this is the most people I've been in a room with for over a year, so hopefully I make sense here with this. So my name is Kim, and I am the mother of 3 absolutely beautiful boys, Ben, Thomas, and Teddy. Two of them are with us at home. Ben is nearly 8 and Teddy is nearly 3. But 4 years ago, we heard the worst news any parent could ever hear, that their child was no longer living. Thomas was born still at 38 weeks due to a combination of 4 loops of cord around his neck and a true knot in his umbilical cord on May 22nd, 2017. So he just had his birthday. We went to Boston. We got some ice cream cake. And Teddy, the whole time he's 3, is like, "Where's Thomas? I want to see Thomas." So we're still working on explaining that to a 3-year-old. But in this moment that we found out, my heart shattered into a million pieces. Our family dynamic changed forever, and I lost my ability to ever have a blissful pregnancy again. Once Thomas died, I realized there was never going to be a safe space in any pregnancy, that you could lose a baby any day until the day they were delivered. In my case, it was just 1 week before he was due to arrive. In the wake of Thomas's death and birth, one thing that gave me a focus with, along with our almost 4-year-old son, Ben, at the time, was the hope of bringing another child home one day. But with that also came a lot of fear and anxiety. Prior to Thomas, I had had a loss at 12 weeks, and then Thomas actually had a twin that I miscarried at 7 weeks. So of the 4 babies that my body had created, only one of them had made it home with me and my husband. He's not here, he's with the 2 kids. So it was then that I reached out to the doctor who had cared for me with Ben, my oldest son, and the midwife who I saw when I went in frantically when I was pregnant with Thomas most frequently. I was looking for reassurance and answers and a way to feel safe in pregnancy again. So I wasn't pregnant again, but I knew I wanted to be, but it was really scary, that thought of going through that again and maybe having more loss. I knew that this team, Jen and Natalie, were more than just an OB-GYN and midwife. They not only listened to me when I spoke, but they heard me. They remembered my story each and every time I went in. They remembered it before I was even pregnant with Teddy, and they remembered it every visit when I went in for the 35 weeks of my pregnancy with him. I didn't have to explain over and over again why I needed that extra NST, or why I came to every appointment, which was many, daily at the end, with a notebook full of questions. And I remember once I didn't have questions, and Natalie was like, I don't know, she was like, "No questions today?" Because I feel like I asked the same ones just for that reassurance every single time I went in. I didn't need to plead to be monitored or seen when I was concerned. I didn't need to explain what I meant when I said I was terrified of burying another baby. Every appointment helped me get to the next moment in time before Teddy was able to come home with us. And I think Katie mentioned that, like, it's just like, I called them like my fixes, like he's alive in this moment to that next appointment. A good medical team is one not only that provides excellent medical care, but also pays attention to the patient, who connects with them and has their best interest at heart, no matter how busy their personal and professional schedules and lives are. Natalie and Jen were this for me. They walked the line of compassion and professionalism with such grace and care. From sharing their personal cell phone numbers with me, to reassuring me that they would do everything in their power to bring our third son into the world alive. They did the most important thing, though, by listening to me. I still remember during one of my many visits, Natalie telling me that she had woken up in the middle of the night realizing that she was going to be on vacation the day that we had scheduled to deliver Teddy, because she had done the math in her head for a normal delivery, not an early delivery that we had been planning. This is when I knew that I wasn't just another patient, and Teddy wasn't just another baby. I also remember locking eyes with Jen in an appointment while crying hysterically, as I often did, saying that I felt crazy. And her words really sat with me. She said that neither one of them had never experienced a loss like I had, and that all my emotions were valid, and they would do anything that I needed to get me through my pregnancy. And that's what they did. When Teddy finally made it into this world, July 31st, 2018, so he's about to have his birthday, it was 15 months after his big brother had died, and the first people I wanted to share him with, besides our family, were Jen and Natalie. They got me through the most challenging 35 weeks of my life. 35 weeks of hope straddled with the most suffocating fear I've ever experienced in my life. I can't express enough how grateful I am for these two women and honored that I'm able to see them get this award for that period in my life. And I am grateful every day for both of them as I snuggle Teddy and just for that listening and compassion and getting him here and reassuring me that whatever we needed to do, like I said, I wasn't just another patient. So that's my 2 or 3 minutes. Hopefully I stuck with that. Like, how do you do that in 3 minutes? I don't know. Oh, Natalie, you can come up. Stay up here.
Hi. Gosh, I wish I was more prepared. I thought it was a few sentences, but I think this is such an amazing organization, compassion, caring for women and families at the worst moments of their life, and I am just completely humbled to be here. I think as a healthcare provider, we don't really think that what we're doing is anything above what we're supposed to be doing. As a healthcare provider, you're supposed to show care and compassion. I think Kim made this easy for us because she was very open with what she needed. And both Natalie and I were just receptive to hearing what she needed, but she really pointed the direction of our care for her. And I can remember her 30 weeks, 28 weeks, whatever it was, and she would literally say she didn't care if she gave birth today to a baby that had no arms and legs, as long as that baby was alive. And that just stuck with me. Like she needed to bring home a living, healthy baby, whatever that meant, and we needed to get her there. I can't thank you enough for nominating us. Again, it's so completely humbling because, again, I think it's just something that we do as healthcare providers, but we appreciate you for showing us how to be better providers. So thank you, Kim.
Thank you all so much. Kim and I have known each other a long time. I think she was one of my first patients in practice. And it's been a true privilege to care for her and her family. We've been able to be together through the really happy times. She and I were pregnant together with our first, and the really sad. And our lives continue to be intertwined, and this is a true blessing. We live in the same town, our kids are the same age, so we get to see each other outside of work as well. And I'm really thankful for an organization such as Hope After Loss. We're so fortunate to have a partnership to help our families like Kim's through their saddest times. I truly appreciate all of the support that you guys have given to our patients. So it's with deep gratitude that I thank all of you. Thank you.
We are very proud to present the 2021 Compassionate Care Award to Dr. Natalie, Webb, and Jennifer Wethje. Thank you so much.
A special congratulations to all of our Compassionate Care Award recipients and all of tonight's honorees who are so deserving of special recognition. It has been an honor to join you this evening. Thank you so much for having me back. I believe in the mission of Hope After Loss. I believe in the amazing work that they do and the people they lift up and encourage to basically share their story and let others know that they are not alone. This is what it's all about, coming together and lifting one another up. And if there's anything that I can do, whether it be if you would like to share a story, if you would like to connect, or if you have a special event or anything that I can announce and get the word out there, please do not hesitate to ever reach me. You can certainly get my contact information from Stephanie. And speaking of Stephanie, I'm now going to turn things back over to her because she has a few more special messages to share before the evening is concluded. Steph.
The 2021 Hope After Loss Perinatal Bereavement Training Scholarships, you will hear the voice of Abigail Wilpers, one of our board members, who was not able to be in attendance tonight.
As a member of the Hope After Loss Board of Directors and the chair of the Standards of Care Committee, I am proud to announce that in February of this year, Hope After Loss was able to send 9 professional caregivers to attend the Resolve Through Sharing Perinatal Loss and Bereavement Training. This virtual conference is a comprehensive 2-day training known worldwide as the gold standard in perinatal bereavement education. This year's recipients were
Daisy Leon Martinez, Robin Foley, Lauren Meese, Alyssa DeMayo, Annie Keating Scherer, Alexandra Stovacek, Megan Shikowski, Stephanie Luramba Smith, Catherine McDonald. Some of the feedback we heard included that this experience and training will surely have a positive impact on the care that we provide our patients.
It's hard to believe how much I learned in just 2 days. The combination of engaging didactic, evidence-based skills training, expert videos, rich discussion, and the patient presentations not only expanded my level of compassion, but also inspired me to improve the patient experience at my institution. By the end of the training, I couldn't wait to start implementing changes and providing comforting care. Thank you. I attended the training in the hopes to learn how to better support bereaved parents through language and resources, but was pleased to find that the training addressed so much more, from compassionate silence and being with, to memory making and creating a multidisciplinary care network for bereaved parents. I am excited to put what I have learned into practice, both in my own care of patients and in the places that I work. I started to learn how to feel comfortable in the silence that can oftentimes be awkward and feel as though it needs to be filled. The way you word things is so important and can affect how traumatizing the experience is for families. We were proud to make this training possible and have made space in our budget to award scholarships for in-depth perinatal bereavement training in the coming year. This training leads to more compassionate caregiving, and we want every professional who cares for families who have suffered perinatal loss to have access to it.
My name is Frank Bartlett, and I'm the owner of the Bartlett Legal Group. a law firm that specializes in handling cases for people who have been injured or lost a loved one due to another person's wrongdoing. In that capacity, I've worked with hundreds of families who are grieving the loss of a loved one, looking for answers, and in need of care and understanding. As I work with these families navigating the legal process, Hope After Loss has been an invaluable resource to help those families dealing with pre- and post-term losses. And on a more personal note, I've also seen the healing power Hope After Loss's support groups have been able to provide to close friends of mine who have struggled with the loss of a child. I've been coming to this event for 5 years now, and every year I have mixed emotions. I know that there will be heart-wrenching stories of loss and the inevitable tears that will follow, but I also know that there will be stories of compassion and hope that will warm my heart. For as many people as Hope After Loss has helped, there are countless others out there suffering alone, in need of help, and in need of hope. It is for that reason that I'm proud to support this organization to ensure that Hope After Loss is able to continue helping families in need and reaching those who need help the most. I hope everyone has enjoyed this evening's events, and again, I appreciate the opportunity to be part of such an amazing organization.
Okay, at this time, we have a few thank yous, and then we are going to get to our 50-50 raffle and also announce the winner of our Amazon gift card, our Newport getaway, and our case of wine. So before we let you go, we want to take a moment to thank the following individuals. First of all, thank you to Woodwinds. Thank you, Nicole Nalepa of WFSB. Thank you to our board of directors. Thank you to our planning committee. If you could stand when I call your name. Of course, Christina Milos, Jan Ferraro, Claudia and Andrew Esposito, Rachel Lowry, Rachel Steigletter, Stephen Jacob, who is not with us tonight, and Alicia Loesch. Thank you to Alicia Johnston. Thank you to Kalia Grand Prix and Miles Papola for our entertainment tonight. Thank you to Kate's Florals and the Nelly family for our flower donation. Thank you to our auction contributors and donors. Thank you to Kayvon Photography, who's with us every year. Thank you, Kayvon. Thank you, Chris Casara and Cost Cutter Liquors. Thank you to Jasmine Bleno and Ryan Moynihan for our technology expertise, all of our sponsors and volunteers tonight. And I want to just present flowers right now to Christina Milos. She really is the rock behind this event and works tirelessly to put it off each and every year.